Hey, stop! Little girl, stop!
Such a pity that some inventions are just too good to be true.
Hoverboard.
I'd really like a hoverboard, for example.
He's on a hoverboard!
By and large, the smart grid is one such invention. The dream of a massive all-knowing machine producing the perfect amount of electricity to power a myriad of interconnected devices. That grand vision is still the stuff of science fiction.
He's not any kind of program, Sark. He's a user.
A user?
It has to go to the end user.
But bits of the smart grid are becoming a reality. This $12 million New York penthouse comes complete with luxury appliances chatting to each other across Wi-Fi. A mix of retail gadgets and apps is putting the science fiction in the hands of the end user.
Unless the person who has their foot on the accelerator also has the steering wheel in their hand,
Energizing.
they can't control their consumption. In this apartment, and we think it's the first where this has been done on a multi-family basis, people will truly be able to see, circuit by circuit, how much they are consuming.
The cost in the last 30 days, $61.
It will become a standard.
But there is plenty that needs to happen before this version of the smart grid slips from the realm of hoverboard into full-blown reality. And that's a shame, because the smarter the grid gets, the better we can control emissions that cause climate change.
The electricity sector consumes a large fraction of the fossil fuels that lead to various kinds of emissions, including CO2.
Modernizing the grid could cut 12% of emissions from the US energy sector by 2030. That's equivalent to 442 million metric tons of carbon, or 66 typical coal power plants. But we're not there yet. Let's rewind. Right now, the US electric grid is the largest interconnected machine on Earth. A vast physical network connecting thousands of power generators with more than 143 million customers across 6 million miles of power lines. 6 million? That's enough to go around the world 241 times. But along the way, as much as 8% of the electricity is lost in transmission. Upgrading the old grid is underway. Nearly 1/5 of all US meters are now smart, including 7 million from Obama's Recovery Act, and another 8 million are planned. Like this, one of 2,500 smart meters being installed by the Long Island Power Authority.
They'll be able to see what they're consuming in near real time and choose the best rate plan.
Not smart, not right, no smart meters.
Mingwei is aware that smart meters have drawn heat in some parts of the country from residents who fear radiation and invasion of privacy. But he's convinced that in the future, outfits like this will be commonplace. But before we get there is a key part of the smart grid puzzle that engineers inside this MIT basement need to solve.
Two of the most promising renewable sources happen to be wind and solar.
Unlike traditional sources of energy like coal, the wind doesn't always blow, and there's a thing called night. And that makes plugging wind and solar into the grid tricky. If the wind isn't blowing,
Here's a complete climate control.
your electricity provider might send you a message saying, hey, it's going to be a bit expensive to run your dishwasher for the next hour, why don't you hold off?
A dream of the future.
Send in a pricing signal so as to lower the demand itself.
Basic supply and demand.
The next thing is to get people to respond.
Leading Harvard economist William Hogan agrees that this real-time pricing is the hover in the smart grid's hoverboard.
Smart meters will be very fancy decorations if we don't have smart prices.
Yup, pretty fancy indeed. But don't fear, moving into an apartment like this one isn't the only way to solve climate change.
It is certainly a piece of the jigsaw puzzle, but it's not the entire jigsaw puzzle.
We're headed to real-time pricing, right? We're going to get there.
In the meantime, enjoy the view. We did.
They truly are going to be able to, control their electricity destiny.